Welcome to Worship Tutorials.
What's up, everybody?
.com. Hey, Fuller and I have a brand new product. I would say product, but it's really a product line.
Yes.
That we're excited to announce to you today. We affectionately call this thing internally the evolution of pads, of our pads.
Yes, pads evolved.
That's right. And it's called MOODS. So Fuller, this is your brainchild.
Yeah.
Tell us what MOODS are and volume 1, which is available
Sure.
now.
So most of you know what our pads are.
Yeah.
And
I'll bring them in underneath
here they
this
are.
talking head segment so you
beautiful.
can hear them. Yes.
So COVID put us all in a lot of really interesting positions.
Yes, it did.
And one thing my church journeyed with through COVID was the fact that we weren't meeting. We were doing stuff online. So we were, like most churches, using pads a lot for, as the pastor was wrapping up or whatever, because there's no band.
Or underneath like an acoustic.
Yeah, just like underneath something. But then after a while, we were kind of like, we need a little more.
Something more.
We need a little bit more. So, we got our bumper line, which is like bumper music, which is like a full track.
That's like a song without lyrics.
Yeah, that you can get in all 12 keys. But I was like, what if we had something that was like pads, but it moved more? It was a progression, really.
Yes.
Literally, like, that created a mood, like a reflective mood or excited mood or stuff. Yeah. And then I thought also, wouldn't it also be cool if like the band could play along with it if we wanted to and stuff? So what we did over the last year was develop this basically kind of in between pads and bumpers. And it's like pads, but it has a chord progression, a very simple chord progression.
We're going to hear it right now.
Here it is right now.
You need to slow it down.
That's right.
Get a little introspective.
Hallelujah. I see that hand. So yeah, it's like pads with the chord progression, and the chord progression repeats. Very simple, standard progression. I think MOODS 1 is like 1, 4, or 5, 6, or 6, 5, or something like that.
Well,
it'll be in the description. Yeah, you'll get a chord chart with it, so you can either run these like you would pads, so just under a moment to create some ambience and a mood, if you will, or every product that you get comes with a click track. That if you want to pull in the mood and the click to a DAW or Ableton or whatever you're using, your band can actually play along with it. And it has a chord chart as well, so it's like literally 4 chords.
Let's differentiate how pads and MOODS are different. So pads you can use like under any songs that don't have a progression.
It's a drone.
It's just a key.
Yeah.
MOODS have a progression, so you can't just use them under a song.
Right.
Where would you use MOODS? How would you utilize it in a service?
So the main reason that we created this was because my church needed something that we could play underneath our pastor for like 8 minutes.
Yes.
That wasn't as boring as pads.
It's just
right, because again, this was online. We needed something royalty free, which is super important because we can't just pull the song off Spotify. These are royalty free. You can stream them on YouTube. You can stream them wherever you need to stream them. So we needed something that was like pads, but had some movement and feel to it. So kind of it evolved from that. So the two main places we use these, and we hope that you'll be able to use these, is one, if you just need a moment to play underneath someone talking, but the band's not on stage or you don't have a keyboardist and you just need it to kind of carry the moment.
Yeah.
That's one application. The second application is if you want to use it to transition. So maybe you want to go from one song to the next song, but in between there, maybe a pastor's coming up to do a welcome or something, and you just need something for the band to play. Instead of going, hey, what should we play here? Or you just play something and then it all is a train wreck. With these, so what we'll do is we'll load the mood and the click, and we'll just have the click going, and the band just knows it's these 4 chords. You can play if you want.
Yeah, you don't have
Or you can just sit back. We'll do a little ambient swell over it, maybe a lead line, drummer can play some hi-hats or some rides or whatever, and then when you're done, you go to the next click, and then you're over it. So it just kind of gives you a skeleton, like a guide, a roadmap to keeping everyone together, but also kind of filling in that gap that you might use pads for, but they actually have a chord progression, so they feel very intentional.
So there's timestamps below this video. You can jump toward the end of this video. I'm going to include a couple demos. One where I'm going to play just a couple instruments. I also recorded like a full song.
Yeah, that was cool.
Right? Drums, bass, and electric guitar on top of the MOODS track. So it acts as like the keys track.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example of what you can do with it. You can scale it up. You can keep it super sparse. But really what it does is it provides like this foundational layer. And it doesn't necessarily replace your keys player.
No, not at all.
Because your keys player can play piano, can play like a Rhodes, something electric piano, can play something on top of it. Okay, so
the other cool thing too, let me say this. Each MOODS comes with two products.
Okay.
One is MOODS. That's the main progression. It's like pads, except it has a progression.
Just the keys elements,
and all 12 keys. Then as I was like working with the stuff with our church and with our pastor, I was like, it'd be cool if I had another version of this that had a little bit of like a groove to it, like a light percussion kind of element, because we started using these things in place of our band. You know, because it's like we got off stage and then COVID, everyone's masked up, and it's like, you know what, let's just play this underneath the pastor at the end, and that way it's easy. And so the other product that comes inside the MOODS folder is, there's another folder called MOODS Groove. Yeah. And that's exactly like the MOODS, except it has a little bit of this subtle percussion vibe, kind of like a low kick drum on the downbeats. Yeah. And so it has a little more movement. So we'll use that underneath a welcome or something. So it has a little more energy. But if it's just like someone praying or something, you can just use the MOODS without the groove. So you get whenever you get the MOODS product, you get these options with it.
Links below to go download these, purchase them, preview them. It is the same thing in all 12
Yes,
keys, right?
Same chord progression.
Like, it's not like a different sounding thing in the key of G versus key of A. So it's the same in all 12 keys. This is volume 1 of many that we will be coming out with. So this volume, they all sound like MOODS 1 reflective. We will be making more of them that have sort of different sounds and vibes.
Different tempos, different feels. Yeah.
You are locked into the tempo and you are locked into the progression.
So the length is 5 minutes, which is plenty of time to cover a transition. I mean, hopefully
it can act as like if your speaker hears the music stop and he's doing announcements. Time to get off the stage.
but the cool thing about them is I made these truly loopable. Yeah. Meaning the first bar and the last bar. So if you listen to them at the end, it's kind of like a quick fade out.
Yeah, it's one measure.
And the reason I did that is because it's a 1 bar in and it's a 1 bar fade out. So you can loop these and it stays in time. Yeah. So they're truly loopable MOODS. So if you are playing with the click, you can just loop them if you want.
And the click has a cue track in it.
Yes.
For every time the progression restarts.
Every 2 times, because one's got pretty annoying.
Oh, yeah.
So I did it, so every 2 progressions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's the top of the progression. Yeah, so it kind of keeps everybody together in case somebody gets lost. Kind of like a fail-safe.
Yeah, it's really convenient. Yeah. And it's really kind of an elegant way to keep all of the people playing along to it on the same page.
Keep everyone together.
So it's loopable. You can literally play them forever.
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
Loop it up.
You get all 12 keys. They come in MP3 format. So you can play these in, any number of devices or applications.
Even Winamp.
Yes, Winamp. You guys remember Winamp? One of the most convenient ways we think to use these is the same way we use pads a lot, is if you run ProPresenter.
That's a great way to use it.
You can just attach them to a slide in ProPresenter, and then they just play through
automatically
the system.
Trigger.
You can have somebody on stage, with a phone, just trigger them.
You can load them as a click track.
You can put them in Ableton.
The way we do it, we just add it as a click track. I'm also working on a main stage player to trigger them as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But right now the click track is a really good way to go.
Yeah, using them in Ableton is probably the most flexible way.
Yes.
And if you're using tracks already, it's probably you have like some sort of an Ableton track rig.
Yeah.
That you would be able to use it.
Yep.
Again, links below to download MOODS 1. Again, we will have many more coming in the future, and now you're going to hear some music being played on top of them.
Mr. Wall, take it away.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.